My initial thoughts with Shador, well, first of all, I just think Shador is such a cute name. I love a good, strong black name, you know? But I'm not gonna lie, I said the same thing. I said, listen, maybe he is arrogant. You have to understand that dynamic, right? You're this rich black kid, right, which is rare. Same thing with LeBron, right? And I'm not even into sports like that, but I know they were talking about Bronny getting opportunities he was not ready for, right? And sometimes that happens because of the rhetoric of racism and things like that. But it's not always a matter of racism, right? I do think that this is kind of where you start talking about arrogance. It comes into play when you start talking about nepotism, the rarity of nepotism, right? The very small point 0.000001% of black kids who are actually nepo babies, right? And the opportunities that they have and how they feel so just very strong and walking in those opportunities, right? Because perhaps they feel like they are the first, or they are the, you know what I mean? Because this is such a rarity, right? We know that black people make up less of the wealth here in American society. So I said, yeah, my initial thought was like, hey, listen, there's really no need to jump on the bandwagon here with this conversation because he could actually be arrogant. We don't know. You know what I mean? You're this rich black kid. You know what I mean? Your dad is who your dad is. Hey, listen, it's like, and I think something that I didn't really like, and I don't really like really with certain people who critique the NFL, especially in regards to black players, right? We know that the NFL has been overwhelmingly African American men. But the conversations around, yeah, and this is how they do black men. They want you to tuck your tail, and if you're not coming, and it's like I felt like that really discredited a lot of the players. I felt like this is the thing that we do with people who actually do carry a spirit and a characteristic of humility, right? Which actually is something that every employer is looking for, right? Nobody wants to be amongst someone who you can't tell them anything, that makes for a very difficult colleague, right? And so, yeah, I mean, people can say what they say, but I thought the same thing. I was like, hey, listen, I'm not going to jump on this bandwagon because he probably is actually arrogant. And it doesn't mean that he's not worthy of having confidence and esteem about himself because he's black. It's a simple fact to say, hey, listen, as far as being in this league and what we represent as far as like leadership and character, he doesn't have it. Right. And I think for a lot of people to pull the race card, I feel like it was misguided. And I feel like this is not the way. That's not the way at all. And so I don't know. I think that was one of those things to where how can you really say, right? He probably really is just arrogant. And I don't think any employer wants to hire someone who is a know-it-all per se, right? Especially when you start talking about the NFL. And I think it's unfair to talk about the nature of the NFL in such a harsh way, given the black men that it employs.